Hi, everyone. We are continuing this theme of how to build wealth, whether it's in the stock market or real estate. And we've got a wonderful guest right after this. Greetings once again from I want to say it's the capital of South Carolina, but it really isn't.
It is not.
Yeah,
No.
We're just on top of the hill here
That's
in
right.
Rock Hill, South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show. Hard money for real estate investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are private lenders in the Southeast for real estate professionals. If you're interested in having us look at one of your projects, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, go to our accredited investor tab and click it on and get all the fine info there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget about Wednesdays with Wendy. Wendy dedicates 30 minutes per person on Wednesdays to talk about anything real estate for free. Even though it's free, it has value.
Oh, it's extremely valuable. Yeah.
Especially if you're talking real estate. Now, you can talk anything you want, but you would be wasting your time if you didn't talk about real estate. So she's usually booked out a couple of months in advance. There's the link to get on her calendar, and it's also in the chat section, which, depending on the platform that you're viewing us from, it's either going to be on the right-hand side of your screen or underneath.
Yep.
Welcome.
And on this show, we're excited. We have Dean Rogers with us, former NFL player turned real estate investor. It's going to be a great show, and we're going to kind of pick his brain on how to build wealth and what he's experienced over his tenure in investing. Before we get to that, though, do you have any breaking news? Or
actually, I don't know if it's breaking news, but the president signed the bill that's supposed to be lowering inflation. It's not. So that was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah. Well, to build on that, inflation is down in July from June, from 9.1 to 8.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's flat month over month. I guess is the best way to describe that. Rents are still rising in a lot of metros. We are seeing decline in some, namely Miami. We're seeing the highest rent climbs in, Raleigh's in the top 3.
By the way, average median rent nationwide for the first time hit $2,000 a month.
Wow. Yep, still going up, man.
Yeah.
So all that. I think I said Raleigh's number 3. I think San Francisco is number 1, but I think they were hit the hardest. So you expect the one that dropped the most would have hopefully have the highest appreciation. So. Yeah. Other than that, millennials now make up 43% of all home purchases in 2022.
Good.
Look at that. Look at them go.
They're the largest population. They should be climbing even higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, without further ado, I guess we need to bring on our guest and talk about building wealth.
Yeah. So before I bring him on, Dean played in the NFL with the San Diego Chargers. I don't know why he would have left other than what most people leave for, worried about your health because your body is being brutalized in the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he still lives there or not, and we will ask. But San Diego, it's like room temperature all the time.
Yep.
And they have some great food there too. Dean created a book, the Wholesale Playbook, and provides resources to people that want to get into the real estate investing business. He owns an active 7-figure business in real estate, and we want to talk to him about creating wealth, whether it's best through the stock market or real estate, and you know where our bias is. So without further ado, Dean, come on out of that green room.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, we're just meeting, but I can't help but say I like you guys a lot already. Not only the humor, but some implied opinions on some certain topics. I can't help but like what you're thinking.
Well, we are somewhat opinionated. You know, in my working career, I've either been self-employed or I've been commission only for the vast majority of my life. And I think when you're entrepreneurial in the first place, and Jonathan's the same way, you just have a different take. It's about hard work. It's about working smart. And you have to use common sense when you're talking about business. I have very little patience for people that expect to get handouts. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people that fall through the cracks and helping people that are needy. But if you're fully able and capable, I got no time for you.
I can't help but agree with that.
Well, Dean, tell us about first getting in into the NFL, and then what made you want to leave, and then kind of why did you choose real estate?
Yeah, so let me take you a trip down memory lane here. So going back to when I was a little kid, I was the sports guy. It's all I did, right? Eat, sleep, and breathe it. And in class, when you'd fill out what do you want to be when you grow up, I was almost embarrassed to write that I wanted to be a professional athlete. And every other year was I want to be in the NFL or be in the NBA. Through high school, I finally realized that my best shot was probably playing in the NFL as opposed to the NBA because 6'2", 6'3", and didn't necessarily jump out the gym as I would have probably needed to. But that being said, that's what my whole life was, and for me, I also recognized me kind of like reflecting on my life and having different perspective now. I always wanted to be that guy. I always wanted to be the provider. I always wanted to like put the family on my shoulders. And I grew up in a good family of entrepreneurs who provided everything that was needed. And I saw the ups and downs of that. And it actually, funny enough, convinced me by seeing the ups and downs that when I was older, when I grew up, I wanted to go be a hard worker for a company and get paid a lot of money, but not have to take on the risk, which is interesting where I wound up. But that being said, being the sports guy, I was kind of under recruited my whole life. I always got stuff done, but maybe overlooked or maybe wasn't fast enough or whatever it was, but always showed up, put in the work, and then got the results on the field. And that without question has translated to my professional working career now. But yeah, getting through kind of the system of high school and excelling and doing great there, being recruited by different colleges, and ultimately I went to UC Davis to play football there. A small school, not really on the radar, but had a history of quarterbacks and tight ends going to the NFL, and I played tight end. And so, my later seasons, I had scouts coming to practices and watching me and some other people. And there it happened. It came together, was called and signed by the Chargers. And all of a sudden my dreams became a reality, and it was the most, surreal experience ever. Now, the thing that kind of led me to making the decision to walk away and hang up the cleats was not because I didn't like it. I loved it. It was insane. You know, I had a locker, four lockers down from Phillip Rivers, and I'm one of the guys, right? I'm talking with Antonio Gates, and these are my teammates, these are my peers, these are the people who I looked up to and played as them on the video games, and now I'm one of them, right? And it was a dream come true, and I've got endless stories I could go down about what that experience was like, but it was without question that Hollywood first, A-class lifestyle, first-class lifestyle kind of roll out the red carpet experience everywhere we went. And, it was pretty wild. Now, that being said, that year, 2011, when I went into the NFL, was the year that ESPN finally started talking about concussions. They never really talked about it before, but now all of a sudden they're talking about concussions, and oh my God, they're bad for you. Well, no kidding, but now we're talking about it. Okay, now that same year, Junior Seau kills himself, right? And I'm now on the other side of the fence, seeing these veterans, seeing the alumni, and seeing how some of these people are just beat to hell. And for me, what was the biggest shift and why I made the decision I did is they changed positions on me. So I went from tight end to fullback. Okay. And as you can imagine, at fullback, instead of being on let's say a running play, instead of being a tight end, then you're a yard or 2 yards away from the defensive end, and you got to, get them at a 9 technique and block them and seal the edge there. Or you're blocking with the tackle and, rolling up to the linebacker who's 3 or 4 more yards away. You're now running 10 yards full speed, trying to kill each other, right? And you're trying to run through a hole that's this narrow. And the best way to do that, because my shoulders are so wide, is to lead with my head, right? If I want to be effective and I want to block this guy effectively, I got to lead with my head, because that's the first thing that's going through the hole. So sure. I would literally go back from just practices and be icing my head thinking like, holy crap, I don't know how long I can do this, because from the neck down, I felt amazing. Like I felt like a superhero. I had the best nutrition, the best vitamins, the best, support team for physical therapy and everything after every practice, every game. I felt amazing from the neck down, but from the neck up, I was like, okay, I'm going to be brain dead in, 10 years from now when I'm done playing. And so it was hard. Now, what made it even harder, okay, and probably what makes me sleep well at night and feel somewhat fulfilled, is I had Norv Turner stopping me in the hallways, telling me I'm going to have a long career, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, holy crap, man, like this is crazy. I've made it. I got this dude who I've been watching coaching, winning teams, telling me this, like this means something, right? I'm onto something. I know I'm here and I've made it, but I had this terrible feeling inside. If I keep doing this, I'm going to be dead in a vegetable. So there was only a handful of people that made the decision around this time, but people started to make the decision like, hey, you know what? I got other things to live for. I got other skills, right? I got other opportunities. So I made, the hardest decision of my life to this day to walk away from the game I love, from what the lifestyle provides, millions of dollars literally on the line, to walk away from it. So I still have dreams, I'll wake up and think I'm still there in the locker room playing, getting ready for a game. And, it makes me a little sad, but at the same time, I know if I would have stuck through and done it, I'd be in a world of pain right now, without question.
Well, you made the right decision. I mean, it's nice to have those that adrenaline every week.
Yeah.
Not to mention the adrenaline after the game, or the after parties. But, and I know it. I don't know from experience, because I've never been at that level, but I can only imagine what it's like to, not have the, we'll call it the adoring fans hanging around all the time. Yeah. So I know that's kind of tough to give up, but again, you have what's the average career in the NFL? About 3 years or something.
3 years.
Like that.
Yeah.
So you do have life after football.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be a colleague with Alan Weingrad. He was a offensive tackle for the Cowboys during the Emmitt Smith years, won several Super Bowls. And when I first met him, I thought he was a basketball player because he was so skinny. And I couldn't believe all that he had to go through to maintain his weight as a offensive tackle. It's amazing. He looked completely different. But that said, so what got you into the real estate business?
Yeah, you decide that you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
What triggers you to say, okay, here's my path?
Yep. So I walk away from football, right? And some close buddies of mine that I played college with, one in particular reached out and he said, "Hey, Dean, you know what? Now you're done playing football, but I got a really great opportunity for you. I'm working for this corporation in San Francisco." So I'm thinking to myself, well, great. You know, he explained to me everything that was going on, and it just seemed like exactly what I was dreaming of once I got into my professional working career, right? So he basically walks me in the door. I join and start working for them and move to San Francisco. And after a year of busting my ass, doing what I always do, like I literally would be, spinning in my seat thinking like, this is all it is. Like, I just got to slap this keyboard around. This is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Like, this is a joke, right? Like, I get paid to do this.
After 2 days.
After waking up at 6 and, practicing all day, and then you're in film and everything. You're not getting out of there till 8 p.m. You're just doing it all day long. and this was just incredibly easy to me. So I worked my butt off, and at the end of the year, I'm thinking, well, surely they're going to recognize how skilled I am and the value that I bring. Like I'm ready for the big pay raise, right? Now, mind you, I went from signing a 7-figure contract and walking away from it to signing a $65,000 annual salary, right? So I kind of had to adjust to that. But I'm thinking, all right, I'm ready to take it to the next level. I'm ready for the 6-figure, pay increase. Like, let's do this thing. And they're like, wow, great work. We're going to increase your salary by $2,000, like, congratulations. I'm like, what? Now, mind you, I wasn't in a sales position where, my effort could necessarily have those big jumps. But that being said, it really opened up my eyes like, holy crap, if I want to have the lifestyle that I had in my hands and my fingertips, and I want to be able to provide and live the lifestyle of, abundance and freedom and create wealth. Like, I want to be that guy. Remember, I want to be that guy that provides, and generationally people are like, wow, he paved the way for all of us. And now we have this wealth and freedom. This was not the path, right? This was not the path. So I did the good old Google, how to get started in real estate, and found Sean Terry. Don't know if you know Sean Terry, but Sean Terry has the Flip to Freedom podcast. And all it was a free podcast that I listened to and immediately was obsessed. Like, as soon as the first episode I listened to, I was like, whoa, how to get started with little to no money, how to, basically start a business from scratch without any prior experience. Like, you can find deals, by following these strategies. To me, it was something that just, drew me to it. So I became obsessed, was listening to it all day, every day, at every opportunity I could. And 3 months from that very first day I found it, I did my first deal. Coincidentally, I actually did it by co-wholesaling it with Sean Terry, because I was following what he was saying so to the book that I was actually marketing in his market rather than my own in Phoenix. So that was the proof of concept. That's all it took for me to know this is what I want to do. After doing like a couple deals that first year, I even told my wife, hey, you know what? You could stop working. I got this thing figured out. Little did I know that it definitely required a lot more effort, a lot more work to create that consistency and build the income. But flash forward to where I'm at today. we have a 7-figure a year business doing wholesales and flips. Kind of started out by wholesaling single family houses. And then after a year, found my business partner. We started flipping houses, which we've done, hundreds of flips at this point. And for me, I realized that there was kind of a law of diminishing returns. The more flips we did, right, the more cash was out, the more I was stressed out, the less money we were making per flip, but we were really good at finding deals. So in 2018, the light bulb went off. Well, dude, if I want to build wealth, I'm on the hamster wheel right now, doing 20 flips at a time, doing 100 flips a year. And it's just a revolving door of cash, and I always feel like I have none. So in order for me to have that shift, we focused on more wholesales with the, handful of flips at a time and buying rentals. Okay. So for me, I finally realized that to build wealth, the people who are truly wealthy, they own real estate and they get all the benefits that we all know about: the appreciation, the principal pay down, the depreciation, and the cash flow, right? So all 4 of those were all the areas that the light bulb went off. And for me, I was like, okay, I need to start buying. So to this day, we've got a 63 doors or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but it's, $10 million worth of real estate that if I do nothing else, I don't buy another property, which I know I'll buy many, many more properties. Just with appreciation and principal pay down is going to be, multiple 8 figures, $10, $20, $30,000 by the time my kids take it over. And for me, that feels like a great accomplishment already. But naturally, I can't help myself, competitive and driven, and want to grow it more and more.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. People don't think about the fix and flip and the wholesale business in the way of, you can get wealthy that way, but you're not growing wealth that way. You're only as good as the last deal that you did.
You can get rich that way.
Yeah. And, one of the things that you didn't mention about owning the real estate is if you leverage it with cheap long-term money, you're at that point, you're also paying in inflation adjusted dollars much less over time, which that helps even more, in my opinion. This is why we don't do any long-term loans. Personally, out of our fund, we only do short-term.
Yeah, it's inflation adjusted. Also, while rents do what? Increase.
That's right. I tell you, I like the old school loan business where, and you're probably too young for this, we would do what's called a call option, not a what do you call it? After 3 years or 5 years.
Oh, you mean an ARM?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do a call option on it. Yeah.
So you do a call option where you're allowed to either adjust for rate increases. You can leave it the same, or you can actually lower it if you want, or you could call the thing due. Mm-hmm. And that way you're never obligated to a long-term contract. Now, what market are you in, Dean?
So to answer your question earlier, I still live in San Diego. I was in San Francisco, realized, holy smokes, it's cold and windy here, and I don't see myself raising a family. I was pinching myself when I was playing in San Diego. So we moved back to San Diego. We're in La Jolla, if you know where that's at.
Yep.
And so
love that area.
Yeah, we love it here. We do the golf cart life. We drive the golf cart to the beach and to go work out and get food and all that stuff. So I still pinch myself all the time about that. But my business is actually where I grew up, which is Central California. So for me, I love investing in the market where I grew up because it's all, houses that are actually at and below the medium, the national medium price point, which in California, most people don't even know that exists, right? Central California, where I grew up, which is more intimately known as the Central Valley, people don't even realize that it's there. I tell them, oh yeah, I'm from Visalia. And a lot of times they're like, well, where's that? And so the nearest city that people kind of relate to is Fresno, and maybe because Fresno State has kind of put them on the map, right? From a sports standpoint. So for me, you know, houses I'm buying for $100, $200, $300,000. It's rare that I'm buying anything above that. And so for me, I sleep so well at night because those are just easy to understand. There's such a demand for that price point. Now, you look at compared to San Diego, I've done some flips here. I mean, I was thinking all the time about my flip that I had in Ocean Beach that, you know, I bought for $560,000 and had it on the market to sell for $750 after I put, you know, $60,000, $70,000 into. I couldn't help but think about it every day because the interest payment was, you know, $6,000 a month or something. Whereas, you know, in my market, it's, you know, pretty much $1,000 or less. And you can have a lot more of those that you're taking on. So,
yep.
Go ahead. I was going to say, that's exactly what we preach.
Yeah.
We only lend in those median price points anyway, because as a lender, we have to look at it this way. If we have another 2008, so there's a worst case scenario and everyone's a seller and no one's a buyer, we can at least rent out those homes for our expected return in our fund. It is the most liquid of the single families because you've got empty nesters that are looking for those homes. You have first-time home buyers and you have investors that will all look at those homes. So it is the most liquid and it's the easiest to move if you have to. You're also not going to get big price fluctuations when the markets change in those markets as well. So, there's another thing we have in common.
Yes.
That's awesome. Listen, I want to make sure that I promote do you have a class or a book or?
Yeah, so I have a coaching program. So something unique that I'll just kind of touch on is over the past couple years when, pardon my opinion, but when the scamdemic happened, you know, I couldn't help but notice that the more that I networked and reached out to other people, that more opportunities kept coming to me. So the more that I helped, the more that I had the abundant mindset, the more the opportunities came to me from other people and, you know, blessed our business and we kept, you know, doing more deals, making more money. So that same kind of concept with good friends around me, kind of encouraging me to do deals with other people, to help other people learn. Had some good friends kind of push me off the edge to get into the education business. So I started what I call the Wholesaling Playbook, which is essentially step-by-step, exactly what we're doing in our business from, you know, a marketing standpoint, how we're negotiating, how we're structuring our deals and analyzing them, and the processes and systems we have in place, how we built our team, how we built out our CRM, everything that we're doing from A to Z, we cover that in the Wholesaling Playbook. So with that, you know, I have a coaching program that has all of that. You can go to deanrogers.com and check it out. I got a video that explains everything that's in it. And really my goal with that is to build a community of other people who are developing the skills, who are getting deals, closing deals, and helping them elevate in their life and change their lifestyle and their resources. And as a result of that, there'll be many more people around me in my community that are also winning. And that just without question opens up more doors, right? The whole reason I just joined the family mastermind where we met was being around other winners who are doing the same thing. And already as a result, it's opening other doors and new relationships. So that's kind of the motive behind the Wholesaling Playbook and the coaching program, is just to elevate other people. Naturally, I'm super passionate about the business and love doing deals and helping other people do deals too.
Excellent. Well, we are very passionate about masterminds as well. We also have that abundance mentality. All it does is bring more like-minded people into the fold. You can't think of people that are in that business as competition, because at some point you guys are going to be doing deals together anyway.
Yeah. Robert Ingersoll, you know, we rise by lifting others.
Yep.
No.
Absolutely.
Before I forget, I want to go ahead and get the question of the week out to everyone.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So
We
Love
have to be
it.
we have to be careful.
I love it.
We don't hesitate for our
We
graphics
just,
coming in.
we just talk. So we want to know, what is your preferred way of building wealth? You just heard from Dean. He was in the NFL, kind of kicked around in the corporate life, and then figured out, hey, I want to build wealth through, realized wholesaling wasn't it. So, rentals. So into the real estate section, what are you doing? We want to know, and we'd love to talk about it next week.
So yeah, you can put it in the comment section, and then we will follow up with you guys next week, and we'll put it in our live broadcast. Thank you very much, Dean. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you spending time with us. You got a great story.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I caution you on is that you still live in California.
I still question that too. It's so beautiful here. I can
know.
look out the front door and see a little sliver of the beach. I go to the corner of the end of the block and see it, and can drive to it in the golf cart. So it's hard to leave that, but man, they sure make it easy to want to leave.
We have many friends out in California, and the typical comeback from that is, that's the price of living in paradise.
Yep. True.
Yep.
Again, thank you so much. Hang around. We'll talk here right after we get done. Folks, thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are private lenders in the Southeast for real estate investors. If you have a project you'd like us to take a look at, please go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, then go to the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. I did forget to mention that we're going to be at the Quest Expo, September, I believe it's 23rd through the 25th. That's also over in the comment section. You can get a discount of 30% by putting in Fairman 30. That's also in the comments. We will see you guys next week. Have a great week.
Hey.